on vinyl community. Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a bootleg vinyl haul showcasing my recent vinyl bootleg acquisitions. Last month you saw my recent Kiss finds. Now this is covering everything else that I've accumulated from the past 6 months or so, and there is quite a bit of ground to cover in this haul. There's Metallica and Antarctica, a lost ACDC radio show, Nirvana covers, and much, much more. It's about to go deep, so without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the latest bootleg vinyl finds. First up is Black Sabbath, the Italian Trilogy, live in Brescia, February 21st, 1973. This is the second release in the Italian Trilogy, which focuses on shows from Black Sabbath's Italian tour from 1973. I have the first one from Vicenza on February 22nd, so for the sake of being a completist, I absolutely saw the means to get this one. Now, this features two different audience recordings from this show. The first LP consists of the recording that had been circulating amongst bootleg collectors, and then the second LP is a different recording from the same show that has never circulated, so you get two perspectives of the show. But what is historically cool about these recordings is that it features the earliest known live recordings of Killing Yourself to Live, which was presented with entirely alternate lyrics compared to what became the version that we know and love from Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Now all we need is the third release of the Italian Trilogy, and the set is indeed complete. The cover features a cool live shot of Ozzy, and there's Geezer on the back there. And this pressing also comes pressed on red vinyl. Next up is ACDC, Bloody Live Reading 76. This is an audience recording taken from their performance at the Reading Rock Festival on August 22nd, 1976. Features the full show, and then there's a bonus cut of Rocker from the Marquee Club in London just 2 days earlier. Historically, this performance is rather significant since it was one of ACDC's earliest performances within the UK. Setlist-wise, it's quite intriguing because while the tracks they performed were very much the standard of an AC/DC show at the time, a lot of these tracks disappeared from the live set with time, such as Rock and Roll Singer, She's Got Balls, and their cover of School Days. But overall, a very exciting recording to dig into. Features a cool live shot of Bon and Angus on the front, and then the back features Angus. And this pressing comes pressed on somewhat marbled blue vinyl. Keeping it in the AC/DC vein, next up is The Real Lost Radio Show. This is a radio broadcast from the Beginnings Club in Schaumburg, Illinois on September 14th, 1978 during the Powerage Tour. Before we get into the recording, I love the disclaimer at the top of the cover, which states, "Lost in the vault for 43 years, we are proud to present the AC/DC Collector's Find of the Decade. Nobody knew this FM broadcast existed. This is completely new material, so get the beers and get rockin'." And that is quite the statement, because I have to say, out of all the AC/DC bootlegs that I own, this is certainly one of my most favorites. The band's performance is tight, the atmosphere is so loose, the backup gang vocals are in your face, Cliff Williams' bass tone is so bold and rich, and the sound quality overall is astounding for a broadcast recording. Now, the full show is featured here, and then we also have a few bonus cuts from a Dutch FM radio recording from Hilversum 3 in Holland from October 23rd, 78, as well as a Powerage US radio advert. Features a cool band photo on the front, nice shot of Angus on the back. Now, this is limited to 500 copies, and the first LP comes pressed on sort of marbled white vinyl, and then the second LP, once I get it out of the sleeve, comes pressed on sort of marbled brown vinyl. Next up is Ozzy Osbourne Speak of the Madman. This is an audience recording taken from the Glasgow Apollo on December 19th, 1982 during the Diary of a Madman / Speak of the Devil tour. Setlist-wise, it's very much what you come to expect. You have prime cuts taken from Blizzard and Diary, along with some Sabbath tracks. The rendition of Steal Away the Night on this is absolutely phenomenal. This was also the second to last show of guitarist Brad Gillis and bassist Pete Way. The cover features a cool live shot of Ozzy, and then the back consists of an outtake from the Diary cover shoots, track list, and a brief write-up about the show. Now, this does come with a glossy printed inner sleeve with a cool retro poster t-shirt design on one side, and then the track list with Japanese translations on the opposite side. Now, this record comes pressed on a sort of hazy colored vinyl, which is pretty interesting, and the center labels feature some cool Diary of a Madman cover shoot outtakes. Next up is Nirvana Smells Like cover versions. This is a compilation of various cover songs that Nirvana had done throughout the course of their career, and there are many notable ones, such as Love Buzz, The Man Who Sold the World, Molly's Lips, Jesus Doesn't Want Me for a Sunbeam. Nirvana always executed covers rather well. Now, there are various sources for this release. Some tracks are from the MTV Unplugged performance, some are the various tribute albums that they participated in for some groups such as The Wipers and Kiss, alternate mixes done from BBC sessions, things of that sort. Overall, a very solid collection of tracks that provide a bit of depth into what Nirvana brought to the table when it came to them doing covers. Next up is The Runaways, live in concert at the Starwood, Los Angeles, September 13th, 1976. This is an audience recording from, you guessed it, the Starwood in Los Angeles, California, on, coincidentally, my birthday of September 13th, 1976. Only difference being I was born 21 years after this date. Pretty solid recording with an interesting set list, mainly culled from their first two albums. More so emphasis from the first with tracks such as Is It Day or Night and Secrets, which are some of my favorite Runaways songs. Some of the interesting bits on here are Don't Abuse Me, which ended up on Joan Jett's Bad Reputation album, a cover of Eric Carmen's That's Rock and Roll, but it's titled here as Come On Everybody, not to get confused with the Eddie Cochran tune of the same name. And of course, their classic cover of Wild Thing. The cover itself has this sort of 3D screen printed type of finish, which is very cool to the touch. And this pressing comes pressed on clear vinyl. Next up is Iron Maiden, Rock in Portland, 1982. This is an audience recording taken from the Cumberland County Center in Portland, Maine on October 6, 1982, when Maiden opened for Judas Priest on the Screaming for Vengeance tour. What a bill that was, and my dad actually saw this tour back in the day, which is pretty cool. A rather concise set, focusing on material from the then new Number of the Beast album, as well as a few cuts from Killer. It's honestly such a treat to hear a live recording from this early phase of Maiden, and when Bruce Dickinson was a fresh member in the band. The cover features a great live shot of the band performing the song Iron Maiden with the giant walk-on Eddie and the devil actors on the risers. The back cover features a shot of Bruce, and this does come with a fold-out poster, which basically consists of the cover of this release, which is pretty cool. Suitable for framing, of course. Next up is Ghost, Satan Almighty, the unreleased radio and TV performances. This is a collection of just what the title describes, radio and TV appearances. In terms of TV performances, there's the rendition of Metallica's Enter Sandman done with Candlemass, and the Rolling Stones' Sympathy for the Devil with the Helicopters. As for the radio broadcast, there are some great stripped-down acoustic renditions of If You Have Ghosts, Cerise, Rats, and Gigolo Harmageddo, but this collection does delve a bit beyond that, since there are some alternate versions of various tracks from the Ghost canon, particularly a rough mix of Zenith, which was featured in the deluxe version of Meliora, very much a highly regarded deep cut. There's the digital-only Carpenter Brute remix of Dance Macabre, the Halloween Kills credits version of Hunter's Moon, and some unreleased mixes of Mary on a Cross and He Is. The cover features a live shot of Cardinal Copia, some burning frankincense on the back. Now, this is limited to 400 copies, and according to the numbered sticker here, this is copy number 259, and this comes pressed on metallic gold vinyl. Next up is David Bowie, the Ziggy Stardust Companion. This is a collection of various recordings from the period of the Ziggy Stardust album. There are the Arnold Korn's versions of Moon Age Daydream and Hang On To Yourself, David's acoustic demos of Ziggy Stardust and Lady Stardust, the non-album single John I'm Only Dancing, re-renderings of the Supermen and Holy Holy, outtakes such as Velvet Goldmine and Sweethead, amongst others. The title of this release really does live up because it is a perfect companion to the Ziggy Stardust album. Now, all these tracks have been released before, some going as far back as the 1990s Ryko disc reissues, but after doing some research, what we have here is actually the bonus disc that came with the 30th anniversary edition of the album that was released back in 2002. So they probably sourced the CD for this release, but what matters is the content, and if you are a Bowie fan, I would say this is a must-own. The artwork features some great outtakes from the album cover shoot on the front and back. There is a nice glossy printed inner sleeve with some awesome photos. And there is even, if I can get it out of the packaging, where is it? Here we go. A giant fold-out poster as well, which adds even more solid value to this awesome bootleg. Last but not least is Metallica Freeze 'Em All Live in Antarctica. This consists of their historic show playing at the Carlini, Argentine base at the South Shetland Islands in the country of Antarctica on December 8th, 2013. After doing this show, it is safe to say that Metallica is the one band that has played on every single continent in the planet, and this was surely a big treat for the select few that attended the show, and for those that didn't, it was broadcasted via video, and the audio is basically a soundboard feed, so it's definitely on par for sounding like an official release. The set list is straight and to the point. You have Creeping Death, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Master of Puppets, One, Seek and Destroy, all the heavy hitters, and the band sounds absolutely tight. Now, it's funny because I don't have any Metallica bootlegs for as much as I enjoy their work, but the selling point of this bootleg for me was the fourth side. So while the Antarctica show takes up 3 sides of vinyl, the fourth side is devoted to some soundcheck recordings from the Orion Festival in Atlantic City in 2012, and I was actually at that festival. I went both days, and it was seriously the best weekend away from home, just a weekend of music and solid times. I do have digital recordings of the 2 nights they performed, and I'd love to get a vinyl bootleg of those shows, but until then, this will do. This is a very nicely designed release, full of photos from the show on the back, as well as the gatefold here. Now, this is limited to 550 copies, and it comes pressed on white vinyl. So there you guys go. That is my bootleg vinyl haul showcasing my recent vinyl bootleg acquisitions from the past 6 months. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.